Mr. Mike calls the plays, gaming chair, endless days. Podcast that goes through the streams, living out our pixel dreams. Hit the button, go live, in this realm where games survive. Games attack with a rebel spark, we're lighting up the digital dark. Game on, game hard, streaming stars, we're never far. Game on, game hard, in this conquest we're avatars.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all ages. I am Mr. Mike, and you are listening to or watching the GamezAttack podcast, episode 115, PlayStation and Gamers Crosshairs, here at OldFreakyGamer.com. Oh yeah. And this theme song is brought to you by moi because I basically created it and used it in a little bit of AI work, of course. That is my little specialty right there. That's where AI is a little bit handy. Like I said, I don't use it for everything, but for little things like, you know, I can't sing for shit. I can't play instruments for shit. It's costly to hire people when you're doing a whole podcast and stuff for free. It's costly to hire people to do that for you. So this is where AI comes in a little bit handy, you know, where you can get a virtual singer and music and you just write whatever lyrics you want to write, because all the lyrics came from me and I put it all in there, and the AI created the little song that you hear in the beginning of my podcast. Now, note, I'm not using the music from Pixabay. Yeah, I think it's Pixabay. I've been using my theme song because I just haven't had time to go scrounging about looking for music for the podcast like that. But sometimes I will. Sometimes, most of the time, I'll just use my regular theme song. But sometimes I'll go back to doing Pixabay for music and stuff. But I wanted to go back to just using my theme song because I made it and I said, why not? Might as well use it. So everybody, welcome to the GamezAttack podcast. Like I said just a little bit ago, this is OldFreakyGamer.com's gamer boy, Mr. Mike here. And yeah, this is a podcast about video games, the industry, and everything going around and in and out, good, bad, depending on what you think is good and bad. And how's your days going? How's your weeks going? You know, it's almost August already. Go figure, eh? Before you know it, it'll be November, and then it'll be GTA 6 time, if you like it or not. I'm partial about it. I am a very big Grand Theft Auto fan. I like my Grand Theft Auto games. I played them all. I beat them all, at least all the 3D ones. Not any of the top-down ones. Any of the top-down ones I did not play, beat, whatever. I played them, but I never beat them. And that was just because I was not that interested. Even that Chinatown Wars, that was a top-down-ish type of game as well, or it was like more sideways type top down, and I just really never got into GTA Chinatown Wars. I got spoiled by, you know, video cutscenes and all that stuff, and yeah, you know, I could try to go back to the original Grand Theft Autos and try to play one of them, and you know, see. I wonder. I might as well look this up now. And I'm sure you guys can comment in the comment section on the video, or you can email me at oldfreakygamer@gmail.com, or you can comment on my various socials like X/Twitter, or Twitter X as I like to call it, or Blue Sky, which I'm at OldFreakyGamer on both of those. But I'm gonna just look it up here. How long? Let's see here. How long to beat GTA 1? Grand Theft Auto 1. Let's see here. It says the main story of Grand Theft Auto 1 to completionists. Let's see, 10 to 12 hours for most players. For GTA's top-down missions are quick, but often require memorization and precision, which can slow you down. Completionist 20 to 25 hours. So yeah, 10 to 12 hours. That's a normal time frame. How about GTA 2? Let's see here. Whoa, 34 hours to complete the main story of GTA 2. How about Chinatown Wars? Let's see here. Chinatown Wars. About 15 to 30 hours. Okay. Just was wondering. So GTA 1 is the smallest. And yeah, I was just wondering that because I didn't know. I didn't know if they were like extra short games because, you know, this is made long time ago, the original GTAs and stuff like that. And I was just wondering what those were. You never know. Maybe it might be one of those game through games where I'm like, hey, I never played and beaten a GTA original game. I might have that in my collection. I might have that in my emulated collection for PlayStation 1. I'll have to take a look to see if I got GTA and GTA 2 or Chinatown Wars and stuff like that. You never know. Maybe I might take a little playthrough ski on one of those things because, you know, I'm almost done with the recent playthrough with the episodes. There's only 2 more episodes left. This week on Wednesday, I will have episode 6 of Game Through for Halo Infinite, and then next week will be the finale of Game Through Halo Infinite gameplay. And if you've been watching it, thank you. 2. Yeah. I think about by now you probably noticed I actually kind of like Halo Infinite. Like I got really into Halo Infinite. Now there's a lot of bullshit that goes on in Halo Infinite, but for something I really disliked and didn't want to ever play and I hated from the beginning, and then I played through it and I'm like, you know, they did really have something in GTA, or I mean, not GTA. Yeah, GTA Halo. Oh, awesome. In Halo Infinite, they really did have something with that more open world-esque type of a game for Halo and playing as the chief and all that. And the world that you're in, you know, it's not the biggest, but and you do end up going back and forth on a few things, but they did fill up that open world of Halo Infinite enough where you're always killing something and doing something and stuff like that. Unlike how at the time when Gears of War, was it 5? Gears of War 5 came out and they did the open world for Gears of War 5. There was some stuff in the open world, but there was really nothing in the open world. There was like a few little minor things, but it wasn't really needed. It was kind of a waste. They kind of wasted that whole premise of what Gears of War could have been for an open world Gears of War game. But Halo Infinite, I think, did a pretty good job, and the story was decent. You know, it was simple. It wasn't anything extraordinary. And then, of course, we do find out what happens to Cortana and all that stuff, and that's kind of like the low point of the game. Like, oh, that's what happened to Cortana, really? Nothing really big, nothing exciting. And then you find out about your companion, and at the end, we'll talk more about it at the end. But I'm sure people know if you already played that game. But I'm glad I played and beat Halo Infinite. I could probably say that because, like I said, there's only 2 episodes left. You already know, and plus, like I said, until I was gonna upload those videos of Halo Infinite playthrough of that, I was gonna beat it first before doing that, which I do with most of the playthroughs. I play through the game, record the episodes, and then put them out one by one when it's all said and done. But it was interesting. It was good. It was a decent game, and like I said, now I can say I've played and beaten every Halo game, mostly. I still think I missed one of the side Halo games, one of those. My one friend said I beat them all, but I don't know. I think I missed one of those side ones, but all the main Halo games I've beaten. And with Halo Campaign Evolved coming out this week, Tuesday, tomorrow, even though I'm recording this a day ahead of time. So when you're watching and listening to this, it's tomorrow. But for me, it's like 2 days from now. Halo Campaign Evolved will be out for the rest of us, for us Game Pass people. I was thinking very hard, should I pay the $20 and just get in early and play it and then have the video ready by Tuesday? And I'm like, that would be good, but the whole premise to play this game like a fifth or sixth time, I forgot how many times I played it. It had to be at least 5 or 6, or this is going to be my 5th or 6th time. And I'm like, sure, there's going to be some new episodes. I know it's going to have a new fresh coat of paint. It's going to look different and play, you know, a little bit differently than the original. Maybe they'll keep it the same. I don't know, with the Unreal Engine this time. I was like, should I pay? Should I just wait? Now, if I would have gotten that collector's edition, of course I would have been playing 5 days early. But because I didn't get that collector's edition because it wasn't available, I'm not able to play 5 days early. And then I'm like thinking, should I pay $20 for what? What's this $20 for? Just for me to play it a little bit early and then get nothing out of it? I'm not going to give them $20 just to play early. I find that I still find the pay to play early thing a really, really bullshit. I think it's really bullshit, especially if you're a Game Pass member and then they say, play these games day one. And it's like, yeah. And another guy on another podcast was saying, he likes to say, no, these aren't, you're not on Game Pass. You're not getting these games day one. Or if you are getting these games day one, you're buying into playing. Like if you pay the $20 or more to play early, you're getting a negative day 5 or something like that. He likes to say sarcastically in his annoying voice and tone, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong about that. I have to agree with him on one thing, and that is bullshit that Microsoft, the Xbox, still does the pay to play early scheme, and it's really. I really don't like it. I think it's stupid, especially for people like me that pay, a monthly subscription fee for Game Pass. We should be getting that early, 5 days early, especially for that, especially if they do eventually raise Game Pass premium prices again, which I'm thinking they will, because when they reinvent and redo the whole Game Pass. Why do I keep saying cask? Game Pass thing that we have going on, the whole subscription thing with tiers and stuff, and now they're coming out with early with the ad supported tier and stuff like that. I think for the premium or Game Pass premium edition, I think we should be the ones that also get to play these games early, especially if we're going to be playing more of a premium. If it goes back up to like $30 or something like that, which it could, $20, $30, it could go back up to $30. And, I wouldn't care because Game Pass Ultimate's been really cheap for me per month. Even when it did go, that price hike happened, and I even said it. I know a lot of people complain, and they're like, I'm winning Game Pass and stuff. It's too much money. And then I'm like thinking, you spend more money on your stupid hot coffees and shit from Starbucks and bullshit like that than you do for this Game Pass subscription, which you get tons of games for your subscription per month and new games. And on top of it, these are video games. These aren't movies. This isn't a music subscription. These are video games, which cost a lot more money, take up a lot more time to play. And, the developers of these games deserve a little bit of extra money. And it's still cheaper than you buying the game fully outright if you're paying $70 per game or whatever people are charging for their games. So all those whiny babies out there that are still crying and complaining about how expensive Game Pass subscriptions and stuff are, maybe you should look in the mirror and check yourself and say, hey, how much am I spending on all these other subscriptions and streaming services and everything else? And how much am I spending on coffees and other bullshit compared to this? And if you're an actual true gamer like me and others, this shouldn't matter to you at all. This should be like a bargain. I know to me it's a bargain because I play a lot of these games. I try out a lot of these games. I am interested in all these games. If you're interested in like one or two games, yes, this is not going to be for you, and you should have never joined Game Pass in the beginning, in the first place, unless if you're just jumping on to play one game and then jumping off again. And then still, you should not complain if you're going to spend $30 on 1 month of Game Pass or something because you're playing a game that is probably $70 or more dollars. And then if you're trying out other games to just try them out, you're basically saving a lot more money. But people don't get that. People don't know how to do the math in their heads. Everybody is so stubborn and selfish out there nowadays, and that people just pass on the notion that, oh, these things do cost some money. And you got to understand also, look at all the other streaming services and stuff like that. They're raising prices. They're getting up to that Game Pass level. Eventually, everything will be at the Game Pass level. Look at Netflix. That's almost at Game Pass level of pricing, and I'm sure they will be doing that as well. Not that their business is doing well right now, as people are saying. As I keep hearing, oh, Netflix isn't doing as well as it used to, but also you got Disney Plus and all these other streaming services. But hey, you pay for what you want, but do not complain when the price is what it is, because like I said, you could be spending more money on something else. And if you don't think that it's worth your time and the money, then just don't buy it. I just don't understand why people would complain about that. Just buy the games outright then, because they're usually on sale as well. So my thing is, I was looking at, I'm like, am I going to spend $20 on this pay to play early thing when it's, just a few days away, or should I just wait till Tuesday? And ultimately, I'm just waiting till Tuesday. I was this close. And in the video version of this podcast, you can see me. I'm almost pinching my fingers. I was this close to clicking OK on purchasing the $20 to play early thing for Halo. Halo campaign involved. And I'm like thinking, Mr. Mike, think for a second. You got Game Pass. It's coming out a couple days. You're going to be playing this on Tuesday and recording it and then putting it up. You're going to be playing this on Friday. You do not need to spend and give them 20 more bucks if you're not getting anything really out of it. So I did ultimately said no to myself, and I didn't pay the $20. That $20 could go to something else like pizza and whatnot. So there you go. There you go, folks. That's how I think of it. I'm not going to complain. I'm not whining. I'm getting a $70 game for like nothing on Tuesday, and there's tons more games coming out, and I just played a bunch of other games from Game Pass. So yeah, I'm not going to complain, and nobody should complain either. And I'm me amongst a lot of other people, especially in the podcasting and streaming, are kind of sick of hearing people just crying and moaning about stuff when there's tons of other things you can complain and cry about in pricing and subscriptions and electric bills, gas bills, water bills, all that stuff, and everything else that is super expensive and almost out of reach for people out there. Complaining about a game like rental service like Game Pass is arbitrary. It's arbitrary because that's what they charge depending on what it is. It's not like I said, it's not like music or films and stuff like that, which obviously should be priced cheaper because it takes less to make those, and those cost less. But games are expensive to make, and for me, I like to support the people that make it, which I hope this money goes to mostly the people that support the people that make the games and stuff, even though a lot of them have been being let go left and right and stuff like that. And I don't give a shit about Microsoft whatsoever because they're just a shit company and stuff. But I'm not going to try to stick it to them by not paying for anything and whatnot and cheapening out, because you know what? That hurts the people that are still there making the games. And I want to still support the people that make the games because I still believe in the Xbox as a brand. And I get great value out of that brand still. As you know, play a lot of games via Xbox for PC, stuff like that. And there's still great sales and there's still great stuff in Game Pass that goes on. So for me, I'm just saving tons of money. Plus then you add in the Microsoft reward points that I still do, which I'm already almost more than half to at least my $50 reward card already. And then think about this. If I just let it keep saving and saving, I could probably maybe even get enough to get that $100 gift card so I could just buy the $100 version of GTA 6 just because I'll have the gift card money to do so, and it won't cost me not that much money, maybe a few dimes, a few dollars or here and there, but shit, I'm going to be saving a fortune on GTA 7 when all these other people are pre-ordering left and right like crazy, or did. They did say that, I don't know if I have a story in this podcast or not about it, but they said that the pre-orders for GTA 6 was crazy good. I think it might be this podcast that I got it. I got to check my show notes here or my stories, but they said it was selling very good. So a lot of people just can't wait to pre-order that game when they can just wait and earn up some Microsoft reward points. But I know a lot of you are probably buying on a PlayStations too, so yeah, supporting the company and the brand that is taking away stuff from you guys left and right as well. I don't know. I don't think Xbox took away too much. They're just been taking away like some studios and good, very, very, very good game producers and makers and stuff like that. But I don't think they've been taking away people's media and games and stuff. Like I said before, I still have on my 360, I still have videos that I've purchased and downloaded to the drive, and they're still working. They still are able to be played. And Microsoft, aka Xbox, has not taken those things away yet. Unlike Sony, which are taking away shows, movies, stuff like that. Then they're going to go all digital for their games. And then what are you going to do when they want to take those away? Nothing. When Xbox right now, even though in turmoil, even though a lot of bullshit's going on and a lot of stuff I do not agree with, and I don't want to sound like a flip-flopper here, but I have to be a flip-flopper because sometimes Microsoft and Xbox does something good on one side and then they fuck it all up on the other side. And it's a balancing act over there, and they still don't seem like they know what they're doing, but maybe they do, and they're just not willing to play all their cards yet, and they're just waiting. I don't know, but we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But we got PlayStation to talk about. We got Sony and PlayStation and all the bullshit that people are crying and rioting about the discs. There goes your discs. They're breaking and destroying your discs. They're going to take away your discs in 2028. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, gamers? What are you going to do? You guys complained about Xbox for so long, and you guys are on the PlayStation saying that they're better and all that, but then when they say they're going to take away something or they're not going to do something in 2028, you're like, I don't know. It's crazy. People are crazy. People got some mental issues going on, and I know that the world's crazy now, but really, I don't know. My stance, and I still say this till this day on this podcast, my stance on an all-digital gaming future, I think, is inevitable due to the fact that these games are gigantic, mostly still buggy when they come out, because I'll talk about Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced in a bit too as well, but they come out, they're gigantic, they're buggy, they need a lot of patches, and even Blu-ray discs don't really hold the whole game anymore. And sometimes you need multiple discs, and that can get costly. And frankly, it's just easier to download patches and download everything to a hard drive and stuff and play it off of that. And the game runs faster. These games do not run off these discs anymore. These discs were just vessels for the games to download, or a code to download said games for a long time now. You just probably haven't noticed. But on the Xbox side, at least, it shows you when it's loading from a disc, and then it's loading from the internet and loading from a disc. I like watching that stuff. I'm like, how much of the data is coming from this disc, and how much of this data is coming from the internet? And then you see it, and then it all ties in together somehow in a nice bow to make the game work. And it's crazy. It's really crazy. But people will have to get over non-disc based games in the future. Just like for PC, there hasn't been disc based games for a long time. I think they were phasing out disc based games like in the mid to end of the Xbox 360 era, when it was coming to the PC times and stuff. It was around, because when I was a 360 gamer back in the day, when it was just the 360 and the PS3, that's, I think, when I was starting to see in stores and GameStops and stuff that PC games were slowly disappearing. And then you got Steam, and then you started to have all these games coming, selling them online and stuff. That's when I started seeing that trend happen. And then PC games were gone. People were angry, but PC games were gone from physical store shelves. Target and stuff had tons of these PC games, and then it went to zero in no time. I was looking at it, and about over a year ago now, and I seen a Target store have like a couple PC games, and these were like super old, still on the shelf. I'm like, wow, I'm surprised these games are still on the shelf. But otherwise, yes, nobody buys physical games, physical discs anymore for PC. Unless if you're an actual like archivist and you're going back in time with these old games and stuff, and you're buying them off of eBay and stuff for these physical discs of games and stuff. But now it's all digital. It has been for a long time. Nintendo's been going more digital, especially with the Switch 2, with those game key carts. Most of those aren't physical games on those carts. Most of those are just key codes that just download the game to your memory unit on your Switch 2. People were pissed at that too, but people are still buying a ton of games on Switch too and stuff like that. So I don't know what to tell you, people. You just gotta have to just accept the inevitable. Plus, there's the whole notion that, sure, if they did keep like game disk drives and stuff for the future consoles and stuff, or they had them as, you can buy a disk drive if you want and put it in one of those consoles like Sony did and stuff like that for the PS5 right now. I almost said 4, but PS5, where you could just buy it separately and then put it into your PS5. They could do that in the future too and say, hey, we're not including disk drives and stuff, but we'll put it in a disk drive. But they're not going to do that, I guess, of now. But if they were to do that, they could possibly make more money off of that, because like I was predicting, and then I heard other podcasters say the same thing after I said this. Now, note, I've been saying this a lot of times. If they kept disc-based media and then they just released the new games digitally for a while until they were fully patched and everything was done and the DLC was done and all that, and then they released a special collector's edition of that game later down the road with, whatever, how many discs you need for, with all the patches and DLC and stuff. And then they had some other collectible items in that collector's edition. They can make a lot more money, because not only have they sold the game to you once, but they're going to sell it to you twice. And that second time, that collector's edition could be very expensive. It could be like $150 to $200 or more dollars. They could be making a lot more money off of that and still saying, yeah, we still have discs media, but it's going to be in a collector's basis where we just sell it down the road, where you got to pre-order it down the road for that, but you can buy the digital version now, and then down the road we will, whenever we're done patching and DLCs and stuff is out, we will sell you your physical edition of this game if you want to play it and own a collector's copy of it down the road. That would be something decent. And like I said, that sounds like a good money, extra cash maker right there for them. But I don't know. These corporations don't think that way. I don't know why they don't, because that's, to me, that seems like that's just printing extra money for not only the game and the developers and them, but, you know, that's what a lot of other companies do. Like, I keep forgetting the name of that company, but the company that does those second prints of games and stuff out there. What's it called? Shit. It's been a long time since I bought anything from them because they're super expensive, but they're the ones, the special game boutiques out there that sell these special collector's editions of games and stuff. They're owned by Embracer Group now too, so that's also a thing. But yeah, people aren't happy about it. And people are going crazy. Gamers, non-gamers, maybe some people that are just neo-Nazi people that just want to create problems and stuff, and they're just jumping in just to cause more trouble by stating opinions that they don't really care about, but they're just making a uproar. But during a lot of stuff that Sony's been promoting, or things that does not involve Sony but does, because they might be like the movie publisher and stuff, but this is for the game side. So I guess the Marvel's Wolverine trailer came out and they said pre-order now and stuff, and then all you see on the YouTube trailer for Marvel's Wolverine is a lot of downvotes and a lot of angry people complaining about not being able to play this with a disc, and that they want a disc-based version, which I'm sure Wolverine's going to be a disc-based version of the game because it's coming out this September 2026. So I'm sure they're going to offer, I'm pretty sure you could buy a physical copy of Wolverine, but everybody's complaining about, 2028, when physical discs are not going to be made anymore for the PlayStation. When PS6 comes out around there and stuff like that, and that they want everything all digital. A lot of people aren't happy about that, but people are rioting online and complaining and threatening. It's all that Gamergate a-hole BS stuff, but people are angry, even though a lot of people are saying, well, this is just the minority of people being very vocal and complaining, but it's still being shouted out. People are actually looking and listening. The masses, even if they're not gamers, are hearing this and seeing this and going, oh, Sony's getting rid of discs and people aren't happy about it. Oh, maybe if I ever wanted to get a PlayStation in the future, maybe I won't get one, and blah, 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 blah. And that news travels fast, especially between the geeks and the gamers out there. We all hear about that shit. And then secondary, third parties hear about that shit later, even if they're not in the scene and they're not involved with anything gaming. They hear that and they go, ooh, it sounds like Sony's doing some bad over there. It comes back, and it comes back hard. And even the Resident Evil movie, it's saying, which I've been hearing about, wasn't safe from the PlayStation physical disc controversy, because you remember all these Resident Evil movies are published by Sony, even though they're Capcom movies and stuff, they're published by Sony. And I guess for the trailer for the Resident Evil movie, everybody's bombing it down and calling it out and calling out Sony about the physical discs and stuff for killing support for physical discs. So even when they should be talking about this movie and how this new Resident Evil movie is going to be and all that, it's getting bombarded by anti-establishment, anti-movie establishment, hate. That's not good. That's not good when you're trying to promote stuff. And you remember Sony said they were not going to, that they had to postpone that new gaming stick, that arcade stick that they were gonna sell for pre-order, or have people pre-order and sell and stuff like that. They postponed talking about that and all that stuff. They postponed the release of that because I guess, I don't want to say Gamergate, because I don't know if people. Well, there are people threatening people's lives, and developers and publishers and other people's lives and stuff. Because people will threaten like that because they're small-minded people and they can't think of creative, good, decent ways to, say, hey, this ain't cool, man. You're getting rid of my discs. No, we're gonna be like, I'm gonna kill you and your firstborn and your wife and your dog and your goldfish. I'm gonna kill them all because you're not getting rid of my disc. So, mental cases that are online, which there are a lot of people that have very bad mental instabilities that are online, that are talking this shit, and a lot of it ain't good. It is big. It is something really big. This hasn't been as big as since Gamergate, like I said, that we've been hearing this kind of kerfuffle going on. And, and there are statistics saying, hey, just 7 PlayStation games have sold more than 100,000 physical copies in just the United States so far this year. So these are actual, first party games, I'm guessing. Because they're just saying 7 PlayStation games. So basically more of these games, because I'm sure a lot more people here in the United States are buying other games. If these 7 PlayStation games that sold more than 100,000 physical copies, that must mean a lot more people are buying these games digitally. And 2, maybe these people are not buying the games at all because they don't have PlayStations, or they don't like the pricing and stuff like that. There could be other reasons, but if Sony's coming out there and saying, hey, just these 7 PlayStation games have sold more than 100,000 copies so far, and nothing else has sold more copies, physically, why should they keep making these games and put them out physically if they're selling more of them digitally? It's crazy. It's a crazy thing. And then there's a lot of people that are canceling their PlayStation Plus memberships in protest, that are not going to buy games. They said, some of them say, I'm going to burn my whole gaming PlayStation gaming library and stuff like that. And I'm like, or you could just sell it off and make money from it if you really want to get rid of it. I don't know. And it doesn't seem like too many people are, a lot of these people that are complaining and stuff, that are saying, oh, we're going to go move over to Xbox or PC or something like that, or Switch. They're just like, we're done. Because where else are you going to go? You're either going to go to PC or Xbox, because you're not going to go to Switch, because Switch ain't going to have all your games that you want to play. And even those are all not all physical games. Those are mostly digital. And then if Xbox has all the turmoil going on, and you can't get a console because it's hard to find an Xbox console nowadays, because they can't make them as fast or as before because of the memory and storage shortages out there. Yeah. What it is to be a gamer, it's crazy. And this is after what happened during the Xbox One versus PlayStation 4 era, when Xbox One came out with Don Matrick, if you remember that guy. And then there was the whole kerfuffle of like, well, what if I want to play a game all offline in my submarine or something? He says, well, I guess you can. I guess you got to get a 360 or something and play that game, because of the whole always online thing, which was a whole thing where they're like, well, you're going to get a physical copy of this disc, but this disc has a serial number on it, which is encoded in the disc, which makes it so you got a license to that game. And when you put it in there, you have that license in that game to that, for that console, and it gives that console that license where you can play that game with or without the discs anytime. But everybody went in, there was a lot of bad talk about it, and nobody knew how to, nobody knew the correct way to talk about that, and screwed up Xbox from there on. And then Sony came out with the stupid commercial where, hey, you want to borrow a game to your friend? Here's a gaming disc, and he passes the gaming disc over to the the other guy, and it's like, yeah, But now it's all the way around backwards, where now Sony's like, no, now we're just getting rid of discs, and then everybody's up in arms, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Like I said, I can see that this is going to be one of those we're ripping off the Band-Aid now kind of approaches in the industry, where, oh, you're going to still buy stuff from us, and you're still going to buy games and stuff, and you're still going to buy consoles. We know you don't like this whole digital future, but that's what we're going to, and you're going to like it or not, you're going to eventually come back to us. It's crazy. It's crazy. For me, like I said, I would love to still purchase physical copies of games. Don't get me wrong. I still like to see them on my shelves and stuff like that. I got my games that I have still on my shelves, all my physical games of Xbox 360, PlayStation, Wii, Switch, stuff like that, all on my shelves, and I like looking at them. I like, ooh, I can pick this up. I can put this in the console or whatever. I can play this game. And then I go and I look at my digital library. I'm like, yeah, I got a lot of games in my digital library. Sure, they can make them look pretty on the thing, and you can see all the digital art. And I'm like, well, that saves me a lot of room and space off my shelves, because, in the early days when online and digital and internet was not a thing, sure, you needed physical. But now that internet, high-speed internet and all that's a thing, you don't really need that physical collection. You can have a cool digital collection. And maybe Sony should have did that. Maybe they should have said, yeah, here's the major problem. And this is one of the stories too. Sony hit staff with the strictest ever social media rules after the disc backlash. Basically, their strategy was to say nothing. And silence is a strategy, but not a good one, because they didn't want their staff, their customer service and staff and all that to say anything about this. So Sony's basically trying to keep silent on this no matter what. And that's not good. And everybody agrees that's not good. They should just come out and explain. Should have said something different. If they were like, I understand them announcing it early and getting people ready for the next, console or whatever, or 2028. If it was me and I was running Sony and I was doing PR for Sony and PlayStation, and I was like, okay, we're getting rid of game discs. That's going to be very harsh, especially for the people that still don't have very good internet out there. And we're going to lose those people because there's still, I guess, places where you can't get good, decent high-speed internet, at least not at an affordable cost, because I'm pretty sure you could get high-speed internet anywhere. You just have to have get maybe a Starlink satellite subscription, and I know those aren't cheap. I can understand that. And then, you got a lot of, still, I guess, a lot of internet out there, providers out there with bandwidth caps and data caps and stuff like that. That should be a thing of the past, but who am I to say what these stupid people do? Like I said, I got Verizon Fios, and they do not charge. They charge, but they do not have any data caps or anything like that. At least not yet. If they ever did do that, I would probably be also a very unhappy person, especially if I'm spending a lot of money on my fiber internet, and you want to push your weight around and, make me a dissatisfied customer. You could limit my data usage and stuff, I would be pretty pissed off by that, but they haven't. So I've been happy, even though I do pay almost $100 a month for my fiber internet. I'm okay with that because I'm like, hey, I got unlimited bandwidth. Well, I got a gigabit up and down, but I got unlimited bandwidth for me, what I use of it. I don't even use that. I don't even use a whole gigabit up and down for my stuff, but still, I get enough of that, and it's unlimited data and stuff like that. There's no data tiers. I'm happy, even though I'm spending like $100 for them. I'm okay with that because I'm like, hey, I'm getting a decent service that's mostly always up, that is mostly always working, and I got fast internet, so I'm fine by that. But I understand that there's people out there that don't, and they can't afford to get satellite or whatever, Starlink and stuff like that, because other satellites I don't think offer decent bandwidth yet. Even though you could still get like cell internet out there, cellular internet from T-Mobile and places like that, but I don't know how well that is. I figure if you got a fast connection, data connection to your phone, it's still like that. And a lot of them used to say they didn't have data caps, but I'm pretty sure they do now. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know anything about that outside because I don't really use too much data on my phone and stuff like that. So I'm not really in the know of that stuff. I look it up once in a while because I'm like, I wonder if I wanted to ever live in the country or something. I wonder what it would be like if I just use cellular internet or Starlink or something. How much would that cost me if I can't get a backhaul of like fiber to my door or something like that? Which I would hope I could still, but that would be costly as well. But anyway, I do understand that kind of stuff, but if I was to speak on that, I'd be like, yes, I understand there's still people out there that can't have that internet. But with the way that games are made, how big they are, and like I said, if Sony had somebody smart to talk about this, like me right now, and I would say, hey, games are still super big. They're getting bigger all the time. They take a lot of patches. There's a lot of patches. There's DLC. There's all this stuff. It's just not a feasible way to put out games anymore on discs for us. And we see more people all the time just buying digital more than physical. And the numbers do not lie. And we could show you all the numbers and stuff. And I think the future is just a digital future. I know this upsets some people, but we will try our best to provide the best care for those people that come and stay with just the digital future. And then for those of you that still own your disc-based media and stuff, you will still be able to play those on your consoles for as long as you can. As long as the media stays working and your consoles are still working, you will be able to play those indefinitely until whenever those things don't work anymore. And I would be like, hey, everybody else is going to eventually go to the digital future. We feel like we can provide a better way to reach the customers. We know this is going to be hard. It's not coming for a few more years yet until we announce our next console and all that. And we hope you come with us on that journey, And sorry again that we're doing this, but we felt like we needed to let you guys know ahead of time. This is what we were deciding. We talked to a lot of our partners, they could say, hey, we talked to a lot of our gaming partners and product people and stuff and everybody else. And we said, hey, this would be probably the best time of any to do so. And we can provide you with the best services and discounts and whatnot. And, updates to your games would go faster that way. And, can make the gaming box a little bit smaller for you and cheaper. So this would be an overall plus for everybody. And we didn't want to keep it hidden. We didn't want to just announce it on the day of when the next console comes out. We wanted to tell you, we wanted to be upfront and center to you and tell you outright right now. Even if you like it or not, we wanted to be, upfront with you guys because we care about our gamers. We care about our PlayStation heads and whatnot, and that's what they could have did. That's what they could have said, but they didn't say nothing. They chose, we're doing this. We're ending this production at this time. We're done. Oh, yeah, we just took away all your digital media too recently as well because we didn't want to renew the licenses for your TV shows and media, which we could have still did, but we just didn't want to spend. We didn't want to give Studio Canal that extra bunch of cash to keep that stuff still relevant because we didn't see enough revenue coming our way or whatnot to keep it still updated for another couple years or something. But, you know, because they took the wrong approach to that as well. Instead of saying, hey, all this media that you bought, whoever bought anything from digital movies and whatnot. I don't know if it was just movies. I think it was just movies and TV shows. I don't think it was music or anything. I forget if they sell music and stuff on there as well. But for that stuff, they should have said, they should have had a good message. Yeah, we know this is they should just say, hey, we're getting out of selling, you know, digital movies and TV shows on here. We're losing our license to sell a bunch of movies and TV shows and stuff. So we have to take it off of your account. We know this is going to make you upset because you bought these things and these are things to be purchased. But yeah, we won't have the license to let you keep downloading or watching this content for some weird reason. Even though Xbox can still do it for some reason. I don't know why, but we just want to let you know, we know you're upset and we're going to credit your accounts. We got a system where we can see how many movies and TV shows you have purchased, and we will credit you back for a portion of it with some PlayStation bucks where you can use it to buy other games and whatnot and content from us. And we hope this helps, and we're sorry again. And they could at least did that, but they didn't even do that. They didn't say nothing. They just said, sorry, we're pulling the plug on all this stuff, which that was the precursor. That was before they even said that disk-based media was going away. I think that's what kicked people in the nuts a little bit. And when people said, oh, I can lose my content, and when people can lose like their content, their games, plus the lack of backwards compatibility that Sony does on the PlayStation 5 from previous PlayStations, even with the PS4 and before that, and going forward, you know, they don't really support PlayStation and PlayStation 2 and 3 discs or anything like that. Unlike Xbox, which they try to allow you backwards compatibility with most of the stuff that they can, because licensing and all that prevents other games. It's not that it's a technical thing, it's a licensing thing. And a lot of publishers and people out there do not really want various content and licenses for music and video and stuff like that in games and stuff like that. A lot of people do not want to allow a special backwards compatibility for certain things like Rock Band and stuff like that would be one of those biggest ones for various backwards compatibility. A lot of my wrestling games aren't backwards compatible from the previous to the future. You know, I got to play my old SmackDown versus Raw games on my 360 because I can't play them on my Series X and S console. I can't even play them on my Xbox One console. So, you know, but most of them do come forward, and Microsoft's also doing more with backwards compatibility, which we'll talk about in this podcast. Which, funny, even though they're in turmoil and deep shit, and Asha Sharma is still fucking things up, but maybe she has an idea. Maybe I was being too harsh on telling her to fuck off. Now, Satan Nadella, I can still tell him to fuck off, but her, I don't know. Maybe I was too harsh because I was in a upsetting mad point on the one podcast where she doesn't talk either. She doesn't really talk too much. She talks to certain little outlets, but she doesn't really talk to other outlets, and that's a bothersome thing. Yeah. And before we end this backwards compatibility or this disk space thing, like I said, Xbox seems to be doing it way better. They're not perfect, but they do it way better. Sony never really had a backwards compatibility thing. They had it with the PS3 once where you were able to put in PS2 and 1 discs when they had that chip in there, which I keep saying, if Microsoft wanted to do something that route, I know it would cost a lot more money, but if they were able to put like a Xbox 360 chip, one of those Xbox 360 chips that will allow Xbox 360 and Xbox original games to be played on a newer console, if they were to be able to license and put in one of those chips in the next gen console, and they kept the disk drive and all that, why shouldn't they not try that? That's my thing, because, the whole 360 backwards compatibility thing and all that was due to they were licensing out some technology, and there was a chip in, I think, the disk drive. Was it the disk drive? It was the disk drive and the chipset, I think, that allowed, games to be played, from backwards compatible games to newer games, stuff like that. And that they were tied to that chip, that I guess IBM chip or something like that. Going forward, if they were to able to do that again and put that certain chip in the next gen console, couldn't they just, these games naturally work in a next gen console without having to license the games again to be played? Because these are physical games that people own. They just have to let them be able to work in the next gen console. I don't know. It seems weird to me that they can't do that. Sure, it would cost a bit more per console, but imagine if they can say, hey, guess what, folks? This next gen Helix console, what is it called? The Helix? I think Helix. This next gen Helix console, this console PC hybrid console, not only can you play your Xbox Now and Helix games in your Xbox One to Series X games, guess what? We put in a chip that was used in the 360. Now you could play your Xbox original and 360 games in this console as well. So it's fully backwards compatible to the original Xbox. Sure, this console could be like $1,000+, but if people heard that and then they heard, oh, this console is going to be also fully 100% backwards compatible all the way to the original Xbox, and you can play your Xbox and PC games on this console, and you can play most of the stuff in the cloud, whatever, streaming to your PC or whatnot, and they're still trying to do the backwards compatibility thing, or now they're doing the backwards compatibility thing on the PC in the cloud. Ooh, talk about a lot of goodwill that would cause. Talk about how they would probably get a lot of PlayStation people and Nintendo people coming on over, and PC people coming on over to the Helix and going, oh, this thing plays it all. This plays all my old catalogs on the Xbox and stuff like that. Or you could still buy these games used. Oh, that would be cool. But that's in my mind right there. Now, like I said, if they were able to purchase and license and purchase the chip that allowed these games to be played on these next gen consoles, even at a cost, why couldn't they just do that? Then you don't have to license anything, because why would you have to license all the games if it was just able to play all the games? Because you just licensed the chip. It seems weird to me that that doesn't happen that way. And then for the games that could still be purchased and played on future hardware, on whatever hardware, because the licensing hasn't, left or anything, or they could still license a lot of those games, or they do, why not just continue doing that way? I don't know. I a lot of weird questioning, and I would love to talk to people, hardware people at like Xbox and console makers and stuff, and see why that can't be a possible thing. Because imagine if that was, because Sony did it with the PlayStation 3, why can't Microsoft do that with the Helix? So that if they do have a disk drive in the Helix, and you can go back and play your original Xbox games and all the way to the Helix, physical games, just because there's a chip in there. I don't know. It sounds like an idea to me. I don't know. But with more of this, you had the CEO of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot, come out there blabbing his mouth, which he shouldn't be. I think this is like blood in the water for him. He was talking about how PlayStation physical discs will not significantly shake the industry. He said that basically he's saying that an all digital future is something that he's talking like I'm kind of talking that this is the future. This has been the future for a while now. It's just now we're starting to do it, and it's something that a lot of people still don't understand, or they don't want to understand, and we're going to be all digital. And he says this isn't going to significantly impact the industry. I don't know about that, Yves. Your whole notion and your whole view on everything gaming has not been correct, especially your company, because you guys have mismanaged that Ubisoft for so long now that you don't know. I don't think anybody should believe what the fuck you're saying. No offense, because you guys do make some good games, and I still buy some games from Ubisoft because they do still make some good games. But that company is, compared to an Xbox and division and PlayStation or anybody like that, they just really a fucking mess at Ubisoft. And a lot of their games are coming out are messes and stuff as well. So I don't really think they should be admitting to any of that shit. I don't know. Yves should just be shutting up, puckering up, shutting up, and saying, yeah, we know where the industry's going. We're just going to support it. That's all he should say. We know where the industry's heading. We're just going to keep supporting it. That's all. That's the only thing he should be saying. And we're trying to work on our own business here, trying to get things back on track. That's all he should be saying. Not saying, "Oh, this is not going to be really big." And then you got Dan Houser, which urges publishers to keep discs if demand remains. Dan Houser, Mr. Grand Theft Auto himself, and then a lot of backlash just went on to him because of GTA 6 being an all-digital game. Now, note, Rockstar, I think, did state, folks, if people were paying attention, which people don't, because a lot of people out there do not read into things or listen very well out there, but I think Rockstar did say that they were going to release a disc-based version down the road for Grand Theft Auto 6 if people wanted it down the road. But they wanted to release it digitally for now because they wanted to keep everything under wraps, because they didn't want people to be they didn't want spoilers for the game. They're very, very over the top secretive about their games and what comes out and stuff. So they didn't want people to accidentally figure out what GTA 6 is and all that stuff. They wanted to keep it all under wraps until they announce stuff for GTA 6 and until the game comes out. So that's the main reason why they're releasing it digitally, because they don't trust, third parties and, game printers out there to keep this under wraps, because, discs get out into the wild and then people get very early copies of these games and they play them and then they spoil them. And then Rockstar has to go out and spend tons of money to get these, shut down and blah, 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 blah. You know how it goes. So I cannot fault Rockstar for wanting to keep this extra secretive, but it's not like they didn't say there wasn't going to be discs. They did say, I know I read it and heard them say it before. They were going to, down the road, after the game's been out for a bit, that they were going to release a disc-based version of Grand Theft Auto 6, which hopefully would have a map in it and stuff, because that's another big bummer for Grand Theft Auto 6 right now. You don't get a map with it for the digital versions and all that. I liked having those maps where you can untake them out of the packaging and stuff and just see the whole world and stuff, the whole world of GTA, whatever you're playing and stuff like that. The map thing was one of those specialty things that was great. But if they do release a disc, if people really want the disc for GTA 6, we will eventually release it. And maybe they're going to wait till everything's fully out and patched, and they can then, get some discs. They can get the discs printed and made and then sell them down the road. And then they can make extra money off of that because they know people will buy them. And frankly, that is a good, decent business decision. A lot of people were telling Dan Houser to fuck off. You guys didn't want discs either, and that you're not releasing games on disc. A lot of hate for Dan Houser here. Where was it? I don't know if it's showing it up on this feed, but in the comments, where's the comments? Do they have comments right here? I don't think I get. Oh yeah, they do. Right here in the comments. Yeah, ironic he knew there was still demand for physical games, but yet decided to put one of the biggest games on digital. Hypocrite. This person's calling him a hypocrite when they don't. I guess that person just did not understand that they did it because of secrecy, because Rockstar is way too secretive and too paranoid about what they release via games and stuff. So understandable, very understandable to me. I don't know. I don't think hypocrite is the word. I think they're just paranoid about their content and stuff. So why don't we talk about some games that I played in the past week? Let's get into that now.
The games that have been played in the past week.
I had to take a little drink too. My throat was getting dry already. And I'll have more to talk about Sony and PlayStation and their crappy digital future in a minute, because I did finally get into my PlayStation 3 account. I finally got to get into my account, and that was not easy. So I can understand why people would be upset about this, because even I know Sony isn't the best to be trusted either on a lot of stuff. But I wanted to talk about some games that I played before we get back into more Sony talk here. So PowerWash Simulator 2 played a bit more of. I'm on the roller coaster portion of it right now, power washing the little roller coaster. When that game is all said and done, because I don't know how many more power washing levels I got. Let me check here. If I can get into this. Let's see here. Power washing simulator 2. Let's see here. Missions. There we go. Where's the list of missions? Let's see here. Mission listing campaign. Is this going to show me it? That's all I want to see is the list. And when a site doesn't load right away, you got to go to the next one. Let's see here. That's not it. Man, I had this list before. Power Simulator 2 all levels. There we go. All maps, power wash, 38 jobs. Okay, maybe this is going to show me. Yeah, here we go. So I am on. Is this showing the right power wash simulator? Yeah, it is. Okay. And I'm going roller disco tractor, theater, motel, mini roller coaster. I'm on 25, the mini roller coaster. After that, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 more to do. Whew. Still got 13 missions to do after the mini roller coaster. Because after that, it's the solar system exhibit, then a streetcar, a salvage house, a mining dump truck. Ooh, that's going to be fun. A fun house, a ski center, extra long limo, shopping mall. That's going to be really big. A futuristic bike. That's going to be very short. Theater sets. What's that? Oh, like movie sets. 18-wheeler, town floats, and then Mount Rushless. When that's all said and done, I probably will be buying that Star Wars DLC that came out for it. But I'm going to wait till that's all said and done with that. But yeah, still a lot of game left with that. But been playing it. Still having fun. Also been playing some Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced again. The funny thing is, I got the audio back for the main character and cutscenes and stuff, and then after few days later, I went back into it, and then I lost it all again. And then I think I went back into it recently and I got it all back. I don't know. It seems to still come and go now, which I hope I could get it back to coming, because after I play Halo Campaign Evolved this Friday, I'm hoping that maybe next Friday we could start streaming Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced again, and then I can get the audio cutscenes, and I'm going to make sure I try to make that happen. It's a up in the air coin toss on if it's going to work or not. If it doesn't, then I just got to have to go to plan B or something like that. It's so upsetting because I love Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. I think it's a phenomenal game. I love doing the ship-to-ship combat. I love going around and stuff in the ships and doing all the island stuff, hopping and stuff like that. And it just bums me out that there's so many bugs related to this game. Now, note, the only bug I got is probably to me the worst bug of them all is that I'm losing my audio. Now, I heard some people lost some game saves and whatnot. I haven't lost any of that stuff, thank God. But not able to hear what Edward has to say or anybody else. And like I said, I don't want to just do, cutscene art. I don't want to do subtitles. No fucking way. I want to hear stuff. I want to hear my game, not just play it in silence. And it kind of sucks when I can't do that. See, for a game like PowerWash Simulator 2, I can play that game in silence because I could be listening to music, watching a TV show in the background. That's okay. But Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I want to know the story. I want to know where that story's going. And I can't do that when the game doesn't work with the audio. So it's been coming and it's going. I'll find out today. I didn't get to play it last night because it just got too late and I was watching some TV show and I got really tired. So I didn't get to play anything last night. Really, that was on me because I was doing some Emby stuff, which I'll talk about today. But yeah, played some more Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, still having fun even with the audio issues. American Truck Simulator, as you know, we've been streaming some American Truck Simulator. You never know when we'll get back to that. That's been fun. It's been fun, even though the game has its own issues, like in those special missions where cars get stuck and then you can't progress through the mission at all because the game is so broken on that part that you got to just take the loss, and that sucks. It sucks that I have to take a loss when it's the game's fault for not being able to continue. But having fun trucking around the United States, and it's a really good game, and it's still making me think I should get a steering wheel, but I don't want to. And then I've been playing this game. This game just came out on Game Pass not too long ago. I know a lot of people were playing this beforehand, but I was just starting to play it. I'm just dabbling in it here and there. But the Planet Crafter, pretty fun game. I do like my crafting games, and I'm trying to create like my own planet, I guess. I'm going to try to biome it, terraform it. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, because I think that's ultimately what you can do. You can eventually terraform your planet and do all that stuff. I'm trying to just collect materials so I can build my base, build a giant base of operations for it. But yeah, very, very interesting game. Very fun. Still learning how to do everything better though. But yeah, that's all the games that I played in the past week. Not much to go on, but like I said, it's just where we're at in time. It's, got warm days, got stuff going on. I've been doing a lot of other stuff, and I just haven't had the time to be gaming. In summertime, I'm not, like I said, not much gaming going on in summer. I try to do as much as I can, but, there's life outside these hollow doors and walls and stuff. So things go on. Things happen. But that's what I've been playing for the past week, folks. Back to the PlayStation hubbubaloo, because I forgot to talk about this originally. Yeah. So trying to sign in, activate, and play a PS3 game on my PlayStation 3 is, as I've fucking noticed, very hard and unconventional. Like, me wanting to sign into one of my accounts, which I didn't know I had, but I found out I had another PlayStation account because my original one is gone because I don't have an email address like that anymore. But my other one, which I do, and it's all linked to my new one, apparently I had it. I didn't know about it. And then it asked me if I wanted to do passkey, and then then I said okay. And then when I went into my PlayStation 3, it doesn't do passkey on the PS3. So I had to go back on the website and say I wanted the password. And then it says, well, then you got to get rid of passkey. And then I had to deactivate and get rid of passkey because it doesn't work with the PS3 for some reason. Because I thought they updated it so you can use stuff like that because this is their security. And it took a long time to be able to log in and stuff because it wasn't the passcode that they were giving me wasn't working. And then it kept switching my email address back to my old email address. And I was trying to get rid of my old email address and my old account for some reason. And it wasn't letting me. And then I had to activate all the games when I finally got signed in, which took over like almost an hour to do. I finally got this kid signed in. Yes, this was yesterday. And finally got signed in. Then I had to activate all these games. And then when I activated all these games, I found out some of these games were I'm like, how did I play Flow? Because I tried playing Flow and that game didn't seem to work for shit. Because I wanted to try out my new PlayStation 3 controllers. These are like aftermarket controllers. They work pretty good. They just didn't work with Flow for some reason. But the analog sticks and everything feel really good on it, and the controls and stuff. But I needed some new PS3 sticks. And this is also a wireless controller as well, but I tried it out and it works pretty well wirelessly, but I've been having it hooked up to charge it and stuff. But yeah, I don't know what's why it was so ridiculously hard to get sign in, activate, and try to play a PlayStation 3 game. Now I can understand why people don't like the whole digital future for PlayStation because their back end sucks still. If I want to get in get into my my Xbox account and play and buy games and do stuff, I just have to sign into my Microsoft account. One account. Very easy. And I can use passkeys or I don't. And I can just sign in with my code or my password or something. There's many ways I can sign in to my Xbox or my PC, Xbox for PC, or any of my Microsoft accounts. And they make it easy. They make it swift. Everything is in there. Everything is tied together just with that one account. And it works between all my devices, my PCs and my consoles and stuff and my handhelds. Why the fuck trying to use this older piece of hardware from Sony? It took me so long to get into that fucking thing so I can play some of these games, because a lot of these games on here are digital on my PS3, and I wanted to make sure they were still working and that the licenses and everything were still working. And plus, it wasn't letting me update anything until I signed into the PlayStation account. And then I went to check out the PS3 store on it, and that is dog shit slow and horrible. I don't know if it's like the same because it was showing PS4 games as well. I'm like, why are you showing me on my PS3 PS4 games? So I wonder if this is the same store you got on your PS4 and PS5. I don't think so, but it is very slow. It is not very easy to find stuff, and it doesn't just give me a list. Like, I couldn't find a way to get a list of every PS3 game and Vita game on there that I could see if I wanted to purchase stuff. And then I was like, what do I really want to purchase? Because when I was able to go and try to get through lists of games that it was offering to sell digitally on the PS3 store for my Vita and PlayStation 3, I looked down there, I'm like, no. Ready, got it. No, it's on my Xbox, PC, Xbox. And I'm going through the list. I'm like, I don't really need this game. I don't care about this game, blah, blah, blah. And I kept going through. I'm like, where are all the games that I got? So and then the games that I do want to play on my PS3, I already own either physically or digitally and stuff like that. And the same for the Vita. And I'm like, damn, this store has nothing. Because I could play these games, which I have played most of these games on other systems. And I'm just like, oh, it was just such a horrible experience. And then at the end, I just came out with nothing because I was like, well, I wanted to see what kind of games I wanted to buy before they shut down the PS3 and Vita stores so I could just have these digital copies of the PS3 and Vita games that I want. I might jump back in there again to check out if I missed anything, but ultimately it was just like horrible. And I know some of you are going to say, oh no, just go onto the website, go to the PlayStation.com for the store there and purchase your games through the store through PlayStation.com. And I'm like, but I shouldn't have to. I should be able to easily do it on my console. I can do it on my console on my Xbox very easily in the Xbox store, even though Jeff Gersman says he says it's the most horrible experience ever to purchase games on the Xbox store. I beg to differ because I do purchase games on my Xbox store, and it seems quite easy to me. If I need to find a game, I could go to search and it finds it right away. And it shows me DLC and all that. If I look through the main thing for the main new games, it shows them right there. The PlayStation store did not show me shit. It was showing me some stuff, but not a lot. So I think Jeff was kind of wrong on that. But yeah, it was such a bad experience. I was like, wow, this was horrible for me to try to sign in, activate. I had to reactivate my console. It was hard, very hard. And the whole security thing where it's like, oh, you can either have passkey and nothing else, or you can't have passkey and then you got to use a password only. And it's like, well, I got my PS3. How do I use passkey on my PS3? You can't. At least that I didn't see you couldn't, because it just wanted a password. And I'm like, well, this is all fucked. So yeah, Sony doesn't have their shit together on this stuff, at least with the PS3. Now, no, I don't know what PS4 and 5 have, so don't quote me on this, but just going through my PS3 and trying to sign in to play older games, to try to go into the store and buy stuff, that was long and shitty. And Sony definitely does not read the room when it comes to what gamers want. And this is probably why they don't want digital games, because they know how fucking Sony fucks everything up on their digital end. The PSN store went down again, or the PlayStation Network went down again, and everybody really uproared about that when it went down for a day. So yeah, it's a lot of, I don't know. To me, how long does Sony have before people will switch again? And would people be willing to switch, even though I still get all this people still saying, oh, I'm only buying this game on PlayStation, this game on PlayStation. For how long before those people go, fuck Sony? They're making things too difficult. They're taking away our games. They're doing all that. My Xbox, even though it's owned by an evil corporate entity called Microsoft, and they got fucking Satan Nadella there and Asha Sharma that doesn't seem like she knows what she's fucking doing half the time over there. At least they have it made it easy for us to buy games and play games over there, and it seems like it's a better experience overall. Still, even though that company's all fucked up, at least that fucked up company still has things going decently with Xbox and playing Xbox and PC games compared to PlayStation, which, you know, now they don't even want to sell PC games anymore. And it's like, or we can go to Nintendo and just play all those great Nintendo games that came out, which were there. There's only a couple, which I can easily say on my one hand here. Bonanza. Bonanza. Maybe the new Pokemon game. What else? I can't even think. What else is there? Poketopia, maybe, because I know people like the Poketopia, but I'm not crazy about it. But really, there was nothing. There's no Mario proper game. Am I being the old gamer boy, Mr. Mike, right here? Am I being a cranky gamer boy right now? Oh man, that's why I still stick with Xbox, because even though shit is hitting fans left and right there, and people are getting fired and things are going up in flames and stuff, at least I know that it still works. And I like things that still work, even in bad environments. You got to take what you can get. And like I said, all my media is still there. All my games are still there. And they still try to say that they're trying to bring them to the future. So pick your evils, folks. Pick your evils. You want to go to one side of evil, or do you want to go to the other side? Sony can't hide behind the fact that, oh, our hardware is our hardware. It's better. We do a lot more stuff. I pretty much think both hardware is pretty equal nowadays. They do a little bit of different here and there. Plus, Sony doesn't have quick resume. You got quick resume on Xbox. So tell me, folks, tell me. What will it take for you to get, well, right now you can't get into an new Xbox unless you're pay out of the nose and you can find somewhere to actually buy one. But if things ever get better in the future, or you could buy a pre-owned one or whatever, what would it take to you to get into an Xbox or a PC? That would be my only other option. Because PlayStation, Sony, and what they're doing over there, I do not fucking know. And they're sticking to their guns. Well, let's see how that works out for them. The loyalty goes so far. And some people say, oh, this is just the minority groups making noise and nothing's going to happen. Of course nothing's going to happen. Let them stick to the fact that they don't want to provide discs anymore, and then they're getting out of the disc business and everything's going to be digital and they're taking away stuff. Let them do that. Because you know me, grass is always greener on that other side. Even if it is on a side that is also fucked. I'd rather stay over here because I still feel like I'm getting taken care of. Oh, and also I forgot to mention when I was on the PS3 store looking up games, and no, most of these games I was looking up were so old, like years and years and years since PS3 old, because they came out originally for the PS3. And I'm looking at the prices. They still want like $40, $50 plus for all these games. They're fucking high out of their minds on the Sony side. You go to Xbox, if you look at like their first party games and older games and stuff like that, you can get them from like bottom dollars. Plus there's always sales going on. And they're always trying to sell me 20 copies of Halo for like $5 or something. But shit, you can get like an older Xbox game, even on Steam sometimes, and the Xbox PC store. You can find some deals on these games. PlayStation and Sony, it's like they want still $50 for God of War. They still want like $40 for PlayStation All-Stars, even though they basically canceled it all and it's no longer really working. Now, can you still go online and play with PlayStation All-Stars against people? Because they're still selling it. They still want like $40 for that game. $40 for PlayStation All-Stars. And I don't know why. I don't know why they think PlayStation All-Stars is still $40. I cannot fathom why they think that game is worth that much. Like for, what was the other game? It was PlayStation All-Stars. That was the biggest one. Little Big Planet. They wanted like $39.99, $50 for some of that stuff. And I'm looking at it. The God of War collection, they had it for $39, even though I got it for like, what, $20, $25, maybe less for my God of War collection here. And all those Little Big Planet games were a lot cheaper compared to what I could have bought them digitally on the PlayStation store. So, yeah, of course they want an all digital future because they don't do many sales and they don't put their games, make their games any cheaper. So they want to fuck you guys in the ass, you PlayStation idiots. They want to rip you off. Where on the Xbox side, they know their games are going to go down in price. And you know, Nintendo, they don't put their games too much on sale in prices because they know their games have longevity to them and stuff like that. They're not, but Sony, I'm looking at these games, I'm like, wait, PlayStation All-Stars is $40? Still? How many years has it been? Oh my God. So for all you people that still say PlayStation's better than Xbox in all these ways, I want to know why it's better. You gotta let me know, because the ecosystems, you gotta let me know. Let me know as a gamer. Don't just tell me a bunch of, because it's just better. I hate people that do that. It's because it's stupidity. It's just because they got no real reasoning behind it. But let me know on any social media, on the comments of these video or podcasts and stuff. Let me, Mr. Mike, Gamer Boy Mr. Mike, know why you still choose a PlayStation over Xbox. And be real. Be genuine. Tell me, graphically or whatever games, or you like the controller better and stuff, blah, 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 blah. Just let me know why. And just don't say because it's better. Because frankly, just looking, and like I said, I'm looking at the PS3 store, looking at the prices just for these games. I'm like, fuck, no. Oh, I almost forgot about that, but I'm glad I mentioned that in the podcast, because that was just, my eyes just were blinking. I was just opening my eyes really big. I'm like blinking. I'm like, wait, am I seeing $40 for PlayStation All-Stars still? $40? You guys still think that's valued at $40? Are you guys fucking beyond high over at Sony on PlayStation? Because shit. Like I said, I could get the whole Halo Master Chief collection, the side games, maybe a couple Gears of War games, all that for $40 easily, and still have money left over to buy some other games from the Xbox side. I don't know why. That was crazy. I was really livid yesterday when I saw that. I'm like, even Vita games, they still had them expensive at prices that I'm like looking and I'm blinking. I'm like, the Vita isn't a thing, and you're still charging these prices. So I can understand why gamers are up in arms. If they're up in arms, don't just say you're up in arms because you're getting rid of your discs. Just say you're up in arms because you know Sony's going to fuck you all over in pricing, because they know they're going to lock the pricing up in their digital store, and there's not going to be any sales, and there's nothing outside that can help you guys. Oh boy, I was my non-gaming wise, entertainment wise though, my Emby Media Server project still ongoing. I've been doing a lot with the TV seasons, rewriting the back end codes for those, meaning, season 1, episode 1, then the name of the, episode and stuff, and going line by line for some of these things that don't already have them, which is a lot of them. If it's stuff that I ripped from my disc collection, I did not put any of that stuff. I barely put like episode names. Usually it's just like numbers and stuff. So I had to go through those so it can recognize on the back end of the NB servers, so it can recognize through IMDb and stuff like that what these seasons are and where they come from and stuff. So I've been doing a little bit of work on that for stuff that I recorded off my recording software for the internet. It put that stuff in there already of season 1, this one. Sometimes it's wrong and I had to fix it. Like for Are You Afraid of the Dark, which I had recorded off of the server, I had to redo some of those because it was in the wrong episodes were in the wrong seasons and stuff like that. I had to redo some of that stuff. But once I got that all said and done, it all works correctly now. So now I got my episodes and seasons and all that, and it looks really good. And yesterday I was using my Emby server on my TV. I was using the Emby player. It's an Emby player /server. And it's all, like I said, it's all stored on my NOS drive, and the main Emby server is on my NOS drive, and it streams it all to all my stuff. And I was watching Black Lagoon on my TV last night, which, like I said, I was super tired, so I wasn't playing many games, but I was watching Black Lagoon, and it went from when the episode was done and stuff, it went, then it does the little thing, just like in an actual streaming service would. Oh, next episode starting soon, starting now, and it would go, do you want to start now? And it's loading it up and it would start the next episode by itself, or you can click it to start the next episode by itself. And I'm like, wow, this is just exactly like having my own media service. And I was really blown away just by that little stupid thing of, oh, coming up next, this, and it shows like in the drop top thing when you go to the files and stuff, and you go and you're playing the show, and then you like go up and stuff on it, and it shows like the Black Lagoon logo on the top and stuff. A lot of little things like that that just make me go, holy shit, I got my own streaming service that I don't have to pay for, and I don't have to worry about losing any of these shows or movies and stuff because it's all on my own server and stuff like that, my own back end. And I'm like, this was the best thing I ever did. And, for $120 for a lifetime pass was the best thing I ever did. And I'm glad I started this project because I've been having fun. I've been having fun just going through my seasons lists and stuff of my TV episodes now, and just going through it and going, okay, what else am I? So I'm trying to do them like in order, but sometimes I'm going out of order because I just want to do a bunch of seasons of shows quicker than others that I can do, and then I could just go back and do the rest that don't have season and episode numbers. And I just been going through there. I'm like, I'm creating my own media entity here just for myself. And it's really cool. And I was playing, like last week, I was playing some videos for people at work, showing them my media server, my Emby server. I'm like, hey, I got my own streaming service. Look at this. I got my shows here, got this here. Eventually I'll have my documentaries and stuff on there. And like I said, I'll have my documentaries, my music on there and stuff. That's really cool. It's a really cool thing, and it works. The apps work really good on all my devices. If it's not too hot out today, I probably will, hopefully, fingers crossed, go outside today because I want to game outside, get some fresh air, and not just sitting here all day, but go outside and do some gaming, eat some pizza, because I'm thinking I'm going to make more pizza on the grill today because I grilled up some pizza. It came out really good. I'm hoping this next one's going to be even better. And, watch some shows outside and use my Emby server and watch my more Black Lagoon and stuff like that. Oh, beautiful. It's just so beautiful. So much fun. So much fun with this stuff. I'm very excited. This project is going really good. I got more stuff that it keeps coming in for seasons of TV shows, and I got more movies that I pre-ordered that are going to be coming in. So this server is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, I'm hoping that hard drives get cheaper again down in the future. I know it might be a little bit, but eventually I want to get myself a 12-bay Synology NOS server so I could put that in the basement, and I could put in 24 terabyte drives in those or whatever, and just make it one giant drive or something, and then put all my media on that, and just have maybe make them in HD or something, maybe, because a lot of this stuff is in 1080p that I rip from Blu-rays and stuff, and I'm like thinking, I wonder if I should start encoding this stuff in 4K or not even 4K, 11 something, 2K at least, if I just don't need 4K, for file size thing. But if I have all that extra terabyte space, or I get a petabyte or something of space, then I can clearly have HD content, 4K content. I don't know. I was thinking about that. 1080p is okay, but if I can have it even higher definition, I don't know. That would be a lot more work, because then I'd have to rip all those thousands of Blu-rays again and rip all that content again, encode it all again, put it all up. It takes a long time. At least with the collection I have now, it works. It works great. But plus I wanted the file sizes smaller so that they can easily be played on most of my devices, not just my TVs, but my little tablets and stuff like that. And 1080p is still just basically the only thing I really care about right now. But you never know, folks. I might go crazy in the future. See, this is why I wish I was retired right now. I wish I was in pre or retirement right now, where I'd just sit at home every day. I would go ahead and rip all my media into the best quality possible and just re-put them all on my server, because I'd have nothing better else to do than do all that. It's crazy, but people do that. But here's another thing. Most of my collection's all physical media anyway, so in the future, that could be all a possibility because I have it all physical and not all of it is digital stuff that I pre-recorded. That stuff, it came out as best as it can. But if I can't get discs for some of it, and that's the only other thing. That's the only reason I record some of this off of like TV stuff. Like I said, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Because I can't get that on disc. I can't get those seasons on the disc. I had to record those off of, a streaming service and stuff, and they go into 1080p and stuff like that. That's all I can do. If I was able to do 4K rips of those, I would, but they don't offer that. They only offer 1080p and stuff in those TV shows. You got to do what you can do, so understandable. But for movies and stuff, I do own all those, and I own a lot of TV series that are on discs. I purchase them on discs so that in the future, if something happens or if I want to go and rip them all, I can easily do that again to re-rip them all. So that's my NB project that I wanted to talk about a little bit. And that it's been going great. I very highly recommend Emby. EMBY, folks. And like I said, you can use it for free for little stuff and trying it out. And then, you could pay a monthly subscription depending on what devices you want to play your media on. And then, like I suggest, $120 for a lifetime subscription pass. Can't go wrong. It's worth that money. Those developers that are developing Emby, they totally deserve my money on that because it works very well. It's like I said, it's 1,000 times better than when I tried to do that Plex. That Plex, I couldn't even figure it out. I was like, fuck that. I washed my hands of Plex. I'm like, wow, this Plex stuff is garbage. And then when I tried to get some of it working, it just looked like tons of crap on the screen. And I know they're crapifying Plex like crazy. Emby is so clean, so quick, so precise. It's just like, uses a lot of open source stuff where it gets all the stuff from, and they try their best to make it a great service. So I very much highly recommend Emby. With all the streamers out there that you can get to make your own streaming service, servers and stuff, I'm glad I looked up Emby because I was searching for a long time for a good back end that I can use instead of going to folder to find what I want to watch. Now I don't have to do that. Now I got it like, let's see, what do I want to watch? I got all these TV series and seasons. I could see the album art. I could see the descriptions, the people that are in it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Instead of just looking at a shitty file on a folder and going, I didn't even know I had that. This, I can see everything I have and go, what do I want to watch? So a lot better, people. And I already did talk a little about Halo Campaign Evolved. I was going to play it, but then I decided, why don't I hold off? So Tuesday will be first gameplay for Halo Campaign Evolved, folks. So hopefully when I get back, hopefully early on Tuesday from work, I will, wash up, eat, and then play some Halo Campaign Evolved and put up that first gameplay. And then Friday will be the game on stream for Halo Campaign Evolved, which we will play. I will be playing some Halo Campaign Evolved on stream Friday. So, yep, that's my talk on that. So why don't we get into the Gamez News? That is the Gamez News of this show. Where is this here? Gamez Newz Now.
Ready for the fight, game talk news, gonna set the stage alight. Mr. Mike's got the scoop, he ain't holding back, dropping bombs on the gaming industry track. Hear the thunder, feel the roar, game talk news, gonna settle the score. From E3 to PAX, they got it all, the highs and lows, ready to brawl.
Yeah, and a little bit of pirate music in there because I'm all pirated up. So why don't we get into the games news that is the games news of the show? I'm powerhousing through the show, folks. Powerhousing like crazy. Halo campaign involved in Game Freak's Beast of Reincarnation lead Xbox Game Pass July of 2026 Wave 2 lineup. So Beast of Reincarnation is out. I did not know that. I didn't know that was coming out, but now I do because I'm reading. I didn't read the story yet. So the rest of July and early part of August, we'll see some big hitters join Xbox Game Pass. Chief among the Halo campaign involved. Also, day one on Game Pass is Beast of Reincarnation, a brand new game from Pokemon developer Game Freak. It launches on Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass on August 4th. I did not know that. I did not know that, folks. Ooh, I guess that's going to be another... That's going to be another first gameplay, maybe. That's Tuesday the following week. Huh. I did not know that. Now I do. Wow. See, even I get some good news here. We're getting some good news. Another reason to be a Game Pass subscriber, folks. So here is Game Pass's July 2026 Wave 2 lineup. First off, we got Shift to Midnight. That's coming July 22nd to Game Pass Ultimate PC Game Pass. And I guess it's on cloud, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Hell is Us, which is on cloud, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, July 23rd. Game Pass Ultimate, Premium, and PC Game Pass. And then, like I said, this Tuesday, the day after today, Halo campaign involved for everything for cloud, console, handheld, and PC. I like how they say handheld. I guess it's optimized for handheld, I'm guessing, which I will be playing a majority of it on my Xbox Series X, ROG Ally X handheld there, of course. On July 28th, Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. So that's Halo campaign involved. Mr. Fall Hunter for cloud, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, July 30th for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. Corsair Cove for PC, July 31st for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. Heretic plus Hexen, cloud, console, handheld, and PC, August 4th. Now with Game Pass Premium, joining Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. And then finally, on that list, we were just talking about Beast of Reincarnation for cloud, Xbox Series X and S, handheld, and PC. I like it, handheld again. August 4th for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. So I forgot all about this game. I thought it was coming out later, but it's coming out soon. Me, amongst others, don't know much about this game. It's also coming out on PlayStation stuff as well as for that game for the platform. But it being on Game Pass probably gives it a better boost up for Game Pass and Xbox for PC stuff. But yeah, people were talking about it, and it looked pretty interesting. I was very interested in it, and I'm like, oh, this is by Game Freak, the makers of Pokemon. And if this game does really good, you never know about Pokemon. Because people were complaining like, how come Pokemon can't be looking like this? Well, you know, sometimes some companies like things looking better than others. I don't know. But yeah, I'll be checking it out, I guess. I might do a first gameplay, Beast of Reincarnation. I got to put that on my list. I won't forget about that. I'll put it on a pre-install for my PC here and stuff like that so we can play that game, see how it looks and how it plays. Also leaving Xbox Game Pass July 31st, Back to Dawn for cloud, console, and PC, Celeste, Crusader Kings 3, Mount and Blade 2, Bannerlord, My Friendly Neighborhood, Rain World, Sniper Elite Resistance, and Whiskerwood are all leaving their respectable cloud, console, and PC stuff. which most of them are cloud console and PC, except for Whiskerwood, which is only PC. So those are leaving. Nothing there that I care about. I know some people like Celeste, and I heard about some people are Crusader Kings 3, but otherwise, nothing really there that we have to worry about. Xbox states that more exclusives are coming, but states to players not to overly fixate on single-player games because they might want to try more open world or multiplayer games, I'm guessing. So executives at Xbox once again attempted to clarify the company's approach to exclusives, promising that Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution are not the only titles it's planning. Matthew Ball, Xbox Chief Strategy Officer and Chief Content Officer, Matt Booty, tried to further explain how Microsoft is handling exclusives. It's handling it by game to game, I'm sure. I'm sure that's what they're doing. I'm sure they're still doing it by game to game, depending, what game should we still release on PlayStation and other things like that, and compared to, just Xbox and Xbox for PC. The clarification arrived amid the company's renewed interest in the strategy, which kicked off just last month with confirmation that two of the biggest first-party games would not come to PlayStation consoles. I can assure you, Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution are not the only titles we're planning. Ball promised to grow a platform like ours. You have to have exclusive games and services. These are not only going to be only two titles. From the Xbox Games Showcase last month, when the coalition declared Gears of War E-Day would not be releasing after all on the PS5, as many has expected, was a big shock in the industry, and of course a big jab to Sony, which made Sony even more evil incarnate, I guess. And everything is still being worked on and behind the scenes. I'm not going to read the rest of this article from IGN, but basically they're saying that it's a case-by-case basis still, but they are planning to do more for just the Xbox, even though they know that they have to make money, and just releasing these games on just the Xbox and Xbox for PC, people would have to be able to want to play on those systems, and they would have to either get Game Pass to play those or actually purchase those games. But they're not making money elsewhere, so they're not making any extra money out of their ecosystem there, which, for a lot of the games that they put on a PlayStation and such, they did make some extra money from those games because people, like for Forza Horizon and stuff, maybe they'll continue to release like Forza Horizon games on multiple consoles and stuff. And of course, maybe like stuff like Elder Scrolls and Fallout and stuff like open world games and multiplayer games they might do for other systems, I would think, and then have these more tight-knit type of mainstay games stick with just Xboxes. I don't know. We'll see when when Elder Scrolls eventually comes out and they say yay or nay on that stuff. And we'll see when Fallouts come out and stuff like that. I don't know. I would think that they would want to put those on multiple consoles because they do cost a lot more to make and stuff. And then stuff like Gears of War, Halo, stuff like that. Even though Halo is out, I think, on PlayStation, right? Halo Campaign Evolved. That's on a PlayStation. Yeah, it is on a PlayStation. What am I talking about? So, yeah, it's case-by-case basis, depending on deals and stuff like that. But as of right now, I'm sure Sony doesn't want to make any more deals with Microsoft and Xbox on games bringing games to their platform because they're like, you screwed us on Gears of War. And it's like, whatever, whatever. And a lot of other people are like, oh, it's stupid that they're doing this. Whatever. Sony's doing it too. Nintendo's been doing it forever. So you can't just get mad at them for doing that. Microsoft announces backwards compatibility on PC with new features and upcoming achievements, which is really something that I'm very interested in. So Microsoft announced, which has been talked about, been going around in the gaming circle around the world, that Xbox backwards compatibility is finally coming to PC, very slowly, mind you, and it's going to take a while depending on how many people they have working for them and who's working on this stuff, especially when you hear that one of the main people in the Xbox backwards compatibility program left and stuff like that. But they're still bringing it. And no, this was all in the works way before Asha Sharma came into play. This is all in the works when, you had Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond over there and stuff, but now they're finally bringing it. It's finally coming into fruition here, which this Xbox backwards compatibility on PC, allowing you to play classic console games on PC and handhelds, such as the Xbox ROG LAX for the first time. The program has already begun. And an early preview containing support for 4 titles like Blinks the Time Sweeper, Conquer Live and Reloaded, which I do like Conquer Live and Reloaded, Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge, and Fusion Frenzy, which everybody loves the joke is Bill Gates' favorite game. I think I tried that once and it is kind of a crappy game. Never played Blinks the Time Sweeper, never played Crimson Skies, but Conquer Live and Reloaded, fun rare game. Very not for kids. Anyone who owns these games already will be automatically granted a license for the PC version. The 4 games will also be added to Xbox Game Pass for those with a PC Game Pass or Ultimate subscription. And of course, you'll be able to stream the titles via Xbox Cloud Gaming, allow you to play them on pretty much anything that Xbox game streaming is available for. Fresh features for Xbox backwards compatibility on PC games include up to 4 times the resolution and upscaling, VSync support, full screen and window display modes, anti-sotropic filtering, enhanced anti-aliasing, and more. Xbox hardware architect Jason Ronald stated in an announcement in the blog post, these games also include customizable language and audio settings. Finally, while not available yet, Microsoft will add achievements to those games and future Xbox backwards compatibility on PC for more titles via an update later this year. So more is coming, folks. Wait. I need... I know I'm very happy about that. Wait.
9,
Wait.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Are you ready?
Yeah. I'm very excited about this because, out of everything here, I know there's a lot of games that I just don't care about. And there's some games that I do care about, but I just don't play them because they didn't have Xbox achievements on the original Xbox games. But imagine being able to get Xbox achievements for these original games going forward in the future. That's just going to make me want to play some of these games. Like, I'm going to get back into the Conquer Live and Reload because I never finished that game. I always got up to a point. I get up to a certain point and then I just bounce out of it. But now it'll make me go back into that game, play that game again and have the fun that I've been having, but also get stupid achievements unlocked for it. And that's going to be taking somebody a little bit of time, unless if they're doing something like AI in the back end. Maybe that's the only thing good about the AI in the back end that's going to help them make those achievements for them to happen for those games. I don't know. But otherwise, they got some people just coding in the background going, yeah, make achievements for this. They're doing their own Emby Xbox app in the back going, yeah, make achievements. We'll make some achievements up for this game or whatever. Or maybe if these studios that made these games and people are still around for these games that made these games, they're asking them, hey, you make a list of achievements you would like and photos that we could put for these games because we want to put achievements for these games. And they're like, oh, okay. But anyways, yeah, I'll play Blinks the Time Sweeper and get some Blinks the Time Sweeper achievements and get some Conquer Live and Reloaded. I know people love their achievements. People love achievements for Steam achievements. They love their PlayStation trophies. They love those achievements on those retro arch games and stuff like that because you could get those retro achievements. And this is like getting retro achievements in the future when it happens. And because these are going to be Xbox achievements and these are going to be actually worth something, to me, I'm excited. I'm really excited. That's the biggest thing. Not just that they're slowly rolling some games out on Xbox compatibility, these games are slowly coming to PC and stuff, and we'll be able to play them, but having achievements with them that makes them worth even more, especially if people can buy these games, because they're going to make more money from these games because they'll be able to keep selling them. That's what I'm saying. If they can do that for 360 games and stuff, that can make some more money for people and companies and whatnot, and them. That could be a whole new business, being able to play Xbox and 360 games properly on your PC. Because right now they're just saying Xbox games. But who knows if they're going to do 360 games as well. Why not? I'm very hopeful for this. And I'm glad they're still trying to work on Xbox backwards compatibility, even though it's not true backwards compatibility. It's only backwards compatibility via digital and cloud right now. It's not like you could pop a disc into your disk drive on your Xbox Series or PC or something and get these games. You got to get them digitally or buy them digitally. But that's still decent. That's still better than what Sony's doing and other people are doing out there. Nintendo doesn't even really do it. If half their catalogs are lost to the wind anyways when they, let them go from like the Wii and Wii U and stuff like that. If they don't feel like they're able to make money off of them and put them on there, they don't, So a lot of that's been lost to time. So at least with these, it's like, oh, you can go back to them and we can make money off of them and you can buy them and have them as a digital license on your, because notice they say you could get a digital license if you own them already and it stays with your PC and system. That is great. That is something that Sony better start doing. And I'm hoping Nintendo's doing that now with the Switch games and stuff, especially if the digital Switch games, I don't know that, like I said, Switch 2 just came out still. It's just a little over a year in. I wonder what they'll do for the future console. If they have a Switch 3 or whatever going forward, I don't think they would go back to a regular console again. It would have to be like still a Switch-like device, because why would you go backwards in time on that? I think they're just got to be fixated on going forward with a tablet-like console handheld device going forward. But it's Nintendo, so who knows? But if that's the case, then they should have it where you can get these digital games and they can keep going forward on and on. Notice they had a little bit of trouble from Switch to Switch 2, they were saying, with a lot of these games. So hopefully they don't do that with Switch 2 and beyond, At least with the Xbox, they've been pretty good with backwards compatibility with that. Not perfect, but they're trying. And I gotta at least give it up to them for that. Even though they lost over 1,600 people currently, and then another 1,600 people are going to be let go later, and a lot of studios got let go and sold off and whatnot, or independent again. It's with all that bullshit going on with Asha Sharma not really speaking to the community well enough, and you got Adolf Hitler himself, Satya Nadella up there just thinking AI for everything still and fucking over everything in Microsoft behind the scenes. Still with this stuff, if it's going to continue to be true or whatnot, at least it's still happening. And that just makes me happy. You got to take the little things sometimes to make yourself happy. And this makes me happy with backwards compatibility, especially with achievements, because I do love me some achievements. So, yeah, that's what I would say is a good. This is where a real all good digital feature has, where you can get games like this digitally going forward. Now, if they can eventually come up with a system to get, maybe that's why they're doing it with the Xbox One original games first, where they'll have those all, for Xbox digitally and stuff like that. And then eventually when they can figure out what to do with 360 games and you can put them in a drive and just transfer a license over, maybe they'll do that way going forward. So maybe this is just one part of that. And then another part will be, oh, you got all these 360 physical games. We can put them in a drive and you can get a digital license and we'll digitally download the game and it'll work for your system of whatever, of your Helix or whatever. That's something I'm hoping to see in the future because that would be really cool. Plus, it'd be another leg up of ahead of Sony where they're just taking away stuff and Microsoft's still giving, even though they're hurting. And it's sad that people still think that way. I don't know. I don't know why. But I'm not saying they're perfect. Like I said, there's a lot of turmoil still going on at Xbox and Microsoft. And a lot of problems, but at least the gaming side is still giving us stuff that we have fun with. And they're still trying to support for now, which I'm hoping will still be for the future. If gaming's still happening in the future. Microsoft launches test for ad-supported Xbox game streaming services. Service promises that ads will not interrupt the flow of gameplay. So basically, they have launched a test for the ad-supported Xbox Game Pass streaming. We heard about this before for people that just didn't want to buy Game Pass, but maybe they'll want to play some games and watch some ads before their games. Save some money. Why not? The test lets users stream select games from their library for a limited time, supported by adverts, and is available to Xbox Insiders right now. During the test period, Xbox Insiders with an Xbox account can stream supported games without a subscription for free with ads with a 1-hour session limits across supported devices, regions, and where game streaming is available. I got a question about this, but I'll read the rest of this before I ask that question. Ads will play before streaming sessions begin and will not interrupt gameplay. Microsoft insisted the core game experience remains unchanged. The company added participation is optional, and players could choose other ways to play at any time. The test is designed to help to give more people more affordable ways to play on devices they already own. Microsoft explained you can play after sitting through 2 minutes of ads. When your 1-hour session ends, you can play again after sitting through another set of ads, and your progress continues across the account and devices. It also is worth noting that today, Xbox Cloud Gaming is not available without a Game Pass subscription. Exactly. For many players, the device they already own now allows them to stream games with Xbox. Microsoft stated cloud can also help Xbox One owners play newer games built for Series X and S without needing to purchase new hardware right away. And I was just saying that too. You could purchase an Xbox Series X and S and play all those games and play a lot of your Xbox 360 games and such and Xbox original games. I think Xbox original, it might be just 360. I forget. It's been a little while. But you can play most of those games on your Series X and S. And you can play newer game titles via streaming without buying newer hardware because it's streaming into your Xbox Series X and S or to your Xbox One consoles because it's still running. They still have a back end for the Xbox One. So they're just saying it because it's harder for them to get consoles and it's more expensive for the consoles going forward. So they're trying to offer still more ways to play it. And like I said, that's probably the best thing to do is get one of these older consoles. I know I'm selling my Xbox One console on the internet right now for a decent price on eBay. I think I got it for like $250 or something like that. Give or take. I would have to look on eBay for that. But yeah, to buy an Xbox One console, like mine's perfect. It's perfect in condition in box and with everything it comes with a couple games and stuff. So get that. You can play Series X and S games streamed and stuff like that. But yeah, it depends on the players though. I know a lot of people just I want to be able to pop in the disc or play the latest games without streaming and stuff. And I understand that, but what you can get right now is what you can get. So people better be somewhat happy and grateful of what they can get amongst the circumstances. Now, I was wondering, because it says you get 1 hour sessions of gameplay. Now, it answered one of my questions, like, oh, you can continue to game after you watch another couple ads and stuff. But how about saving your progress? So if you're at a point, or if you're how about if you're in the middle of a boss battle or something, and your time limit is up, do they let you either finish that boss battle or die or something and then save your progress up to there? Or do you just lose that progress? That is something I'm interesting. That's the one thing I was wondering about here. And I was trying to look to see if anything was said about that. And I didn't see anything yet. And nobody, let's see here. This one guy's like, oh, when 1 hour session ends, you could play again after sitting through another set of ads. So in other words, ads will be 100% interrupt your gameplay. No, because you're not paying for anything. You're paying to stream a game. You're not paying to, you're not paying for anything. You're just watching an ad to use Game Pass. The person here does not know what they're saying. It's not. It's just between the game. It's not like, oh, pausing the game. Hey, here's an ad during a cutscene or something. I can understand what they're doing. I know some people can't, but those are the people that are going to always whine about this stuff. My thing is, how does it work for, like, if you're in the middle of a boss battle or a mission or something? Does it let you just finish that mission or boss battle, or does it warn you, like, you got only so much time? Make sure you whatever. I wonder what it does so that you don't lose your progress. And then when you do, like, start a new session, it keeps going. That's the only thing. What is the save states of these games? That's my only question on that. Because if you're in the middle of a boss battle and your time runs out, and then it says, oh, we're going to end your session now, it'll be like, but I'm in the middle of a boss battle. So that would be interrupting the gameplay. But if it lets you finish that, or if you die or something, you can have a save state where you can get back into it on your next session. That makes sense as well. Yeah, this whole Switch 2 bullshit thing with Nintendo and others saying customers have no right to U.S. tariff refunds. Nintendo argues as they received exactly what they bargained and paid for because their lawyers said so. Yeah, lawyers can go fuck off. And sure, people bought these consoles knowing that these that they had tariffs on them because Nintendo and others said they did. But here's the thing: once that all supposedly went away, and Nintendo already got your money from paying the higher cost from the tariffs, just like other people like Xbox and others. Did Sony? Probably Sony. And now they're trying to get after the U.S. government to get their tariff money back, even though technically they didn't spend any money on the tariffs that was theirs. They put that in the price for the systems, which technically means us as the consumers, which not me because I didn't buy anything that required tariffs, but for you people that bought them, knowing that some of this price is because of the tariffs, you should be entitled to that money back, not the company. The company didn't lose much off of the tariffs because they put it in the price, and now they want to double dip, like I said many times before, and now they're saying, nah. A lot of these companies are saying, nah, this is our money now. We're getting extra money back, even though it didn't cost us that much money with the tariffs because we baked it into your price so that you paid for it. So, like I said before, Nintendo being Nintendo and their lawyers being their lawyers, they're just trying to double dip. And some companies are being decent out there saying, yeah, you're right. You did pay for these tariffs. we're going to try to figure out a way to give you some money back or whatever back. And then Nintendo and their lawyers say, no, it's too hard to do that. Why is it too hard to do that? Just see, all your Nintendo Switch 2s that have been purchased and stuff like that, I'm sure have been purchased, and they all have Nintendo Online accounts, because I'm pretty sure you need a Nintendo Online account, even a basic one, even if you don't pay for anything on there, that is linked to your Nintendo company, because they need to do updates and stuff. So who owns Switch 2s. Who has a Switch 2 and account and stuff. So you can at least give them like a, I want to know, how much would the tariffs be on top of that? Another, was it like $50 or something, or $20? I don't know what it would be. I don't know. If it's like $50, you should give your customers at least a $25, $30 voucher for your eShop or something. I know that sounds stupid and that just makes you get more money, but you could find out who those people were. So they're just bullshitting you, saying, no, it's too hard for us to do that. And in the time of AI, where everybody talks about this magical AI and that it's so magical, it could do whatever and it could do anything, and it makes everything now possible with AI and stuff. Why don't you put AI on this and make AI figure out how consumers get paid the tariffs from your thing? They just don't want to do it because they're like, well, we had to raise the prices of these consoles. We figure we losing sales because of these tariff prices, and that, we're a company and we deserve to make more extra money. So we're going to take these tariff money on top of it from the government, even though we charged more money for thing. But because we had to do extra work to put these tariff prices in our electronics and goods and services, we deserve to get that extra money from the government. Yeah, this is our extra payday here. It's not that they were hurting from that. They weren't hurting from the tariffs. Nobody was hurting from the tariffs except for us, the consumers, or for you guys that actually bought stuff that the tariff prices cost you more money. Like I said, I didn't buy any new consoles lately. I didn't buy anything that involved tariffs. If it did, it was nothing significant. But like I said, I didn't see anything. So, yeah, it's Nintendo being bullshit and Nintendo being Nintendo and all these other companies lying and saying, nah, this is our money now. When you got other companies out there that are saying, no, we'll try to give you, the consumers, yeah, we understand. We'll try to give you back some of that money and whatnot. We'll try to do right about you. And then you got Nintendo and them saying, no, this is our money. We want the payday from the government, because they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about anybody, even though they could do it. And then, like I said, in the land of AI, we should be able to do anything, right? Right? AI is the answer to everything, right? Right? No, it's all a lie. AI is a lie, and it only does some things and some calculations and some trickery, but okay. Oh. Corporations will do what corporations do best: make money off your ass. This got announced, even though the studio closed. So I'm trying to read. What was the? Hold on. Trying to remember the name of this company. Three Fields Entertainment. So this company called Three Fields Entertainment, which was from former Burnout developers, Criterion Games, like Fiona Sperry. That's what this person is, from Criterion Games, which helped do Recreation and a bunch of games for Three Field Games when she and some other people opened up that studio. Then that studio closed down because of, they weren't making that much money and stuff. Apparently, she opened it up again, making it a new company. I'm trying to think of what this new studio's called. This article's not showing the best here. But a new studio called When Tides Turn. Oh, okay. So Recreation 2 has been announced by some of the former Recreation 1 or Three Fields Entertainment people. I don't know if you remember Recreation. It was the Burnout successor from the people that made the Burnouts and Burnout Paradises and stuff back when it was Criterion, stuff like that. And then now that studio went away, Three Fields Entertainment, because they weren't doing very well, even though they made a lot of stuff. But a lot of it was like half-baked, whatever. I supported them with purchasing Recreation. At the time, it was still needing a lot of patches, a lot of fixing and stuff. I haven't went back to it for a while yet. I should go back to it to see if anything's changed of that. But that studio shut down, Three Fields Entertainment. Now they got a new studio by this lady, Fiona Sperry, which was one of the lead developers over there and owners, I'm guessing, has now a studio called When Tides Turn, and I guess she's got all the IP for Recreation and stuff. So now they announced that Recreation 2 is being developed and it's coming out, and that it's coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Doesn't have any release date yet, but it has been in development for about 3 months, according to Rock Paper Shotgun. Recreation 2 has been described as more compact than the original, trading its predecessor's enormous yet bland and one-note rural map, as they say, for something that contains a lot more urban environments. The result seems to be more that they may even be closer to the spirit of the likes of Burnout Paradise than the original Recreation, which already explicitly recreated modes, sound effects, and parts of Burnout Paradise's on-screen presentations. I'll be interested in it. Like I said, I tried out Recreation. I spent a lot of money on Recreation. I think it was like $30 at the time. It had some vision. It just didn't seem like it had that much. I know a certain Jeff Gersman, again, mentioning his name again, said he loved Recreation. I didn't see too much of that. I saw when he played it looked okay, but then when I tried to play, I was like, yeah, this game needs some work. Like I said, I'll go back to it one day. But Recreation 2, now that it looks like it's in a little world and stuff, hopefully they have more like crash modes and stuff. That's what I want. If they're going to do something like that, I want good crash modes. I want good racing, good crash modes, stuff like that. Bring back more of the Burnout from the Burnout series into this. I'd be very interested in that. Definitely interested in that. Tomb Raider Catalyst has been delayed to 2028, confirmed by Amazon Game Studios boss. It was originally due out February 12th, 2027, which, of course, that's come and gone. Now it's going to be coming out into 2028, delayed into 2028. So, yes, let him push that stuff back, because right now there's other good stuff coming out, and this game probably needs some more polish and work to it. So in June, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis was delayed from this year to February 12th, 2027 release date. Let's see here. So in March, Crystal Dynamics suffered its fourth redundancy around in 12 months, although the Embracer-owned studio insisted it remained fully committed to the future development of Lara Croft franchise. The upcoming Tomb Raider games are published by Amazon, which is also working on a Tomb Raider TV show for Prime, starring Game of Thrones Sophie Turner. Blah, 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 blah. So basically, this is all being, polished, reworked. And 2028, yeah, I know. That seems better. A lot of this stuff should be pushed back. If they want to make these games good, if they come out at all. How many games has Amazon actually published in their service? Because Amazon's been all over the place. They're not really into gaming. I don't know why they even tried to do this in the first place. They bought all these film studios and gaming studios, instead of letting their game IPs being made by other people and just sold, they're just like trying to take a lot of the stuff in house and stuff, just like how that IOI and 007 game, is that going to be made by IOI again, or is it gonna Amazon gonna try to take it over? I don't know. It's weird. It's weird stuff going on with that. I haven't played that 007 game. I hear a lot of people like it. I hear maybe one or two people that don't like it for stupidity reasons. I don't know. I'll give it a try maybe someday. I just don't have no time for that game. I was more into their Hitman than the 007, but 007 seems okay. But tons of other games coming out, stuff like that. Ongoing, Gears of War designer Cliff Bleszinski reveals that he struggled with alcoholism, discusses the failure of Lawbreakers and his former Boss Key Productions shutdown, and potential return to video game development. Maybe he should go to work on the next Gears of War games. Maybe somebody at Microsoft should try to bring him in to make some Gears of War stuff, because he is big on Gears of War. So I guess he, during some Gears of War games and during his time trying to make Lawbreakers, I guess he turned from a working, what was it, a productive alcoholic to a non-productive alcoholic. And now with a few months of sobriety, he stated that he was mostly the blame of for the collapse of Boss Key. I was a functioning alcoholic, he stated. Then I became a non-functioning alcoholic. I just said that. So he's now 4 months sober, and he's considering a return to video game development. And he talks about the Lawbreakers failure, and the idea never came to anything, in the death of his dog. Oh, okay, he had the death of his dog. Blinsky admitted his ego played a part in his various mistakes and refused to co-fund Boss Key with former fellow Gears developer Rod Ferguson. Blinsky also stated that his problems with alcohol began back in 2003 while working on Unreal Tournament, but extended through the development of Gears of War games. The Gears of War trilogy was largely developed hungover by me, he stated. I was at the point as a functioning alcoholic. You go to your GDCs, you go to your E3s, you had 3 nights in a row of going to parties, on wine, dinner with your partners, and then you have hotel lobby bars. And he added, my tolerance was so high that other developers would have a few, and I would get all of this confidential information and remember it. Okay. And it was like my superpower for a while. Okay. Eventually my body was like, fuck you. And I realized it was hitting me at the wall, because I guess he went and he suffered a seizure and ended up in the hospital. So he said, well, he's given up his partying after 25 years. Now he seems to be doing better, telling people he wants to maybe consider a return to video game development, which he should, because I thought he had fun making video games and designing video games, and maybe he should. Maybe he should. Him and his wife, Lauren, because he's still with his wife, I guess, Lauren. So, yeah, everybody can have it. And he was a big star. We all knew Cliff Bleszinski is Cliffy B back in the day and stuff like that. So we all know him. And yeah, best of wishes. But, all that alcohol is going to take a toll on his body. Drinking is not the best way to handle stuff. Trust me. Well, don't trust me, because I don't really drink. So I'm not the one to be saying this stuff. But yeah, that I hear a lot about that stuff. So good that he's taking stuff. And like I said, I hope he does come back to game development again, and maybe he'll try to want to work on something like Gears of War again or whatever. I don't know. Maybe he wants to work on the next Halo. He can be the new ideas for Halo, for the future of Halo. I'd like to see something like that. And then final game news is not really game news, but it's about video games. And it was kind of interesting to me when I read this because I didn't know this shit was happening. But the original Pokemon anime is coming to Hulu and Disney Plus in 2 weeks. So Pokemon Indigo League, which is the original Pokemon series with Ash Ketchum, Misty, and Brock and stuff, all 52 episodes of the first season is coming back. It was available on Netflix for a while. It's also available to watch on YouTube if you didn't notice. There's the Pokemon channel on YouTube. You can watch all the Pokemon on there as well, but it's also coming to Hulu and Disney Plus, which, another question, I thought Disney was killing Hulu. Isn't Hulu supposed to be gone soon? And it was all just going to be Disney Plus? I don't know. That was the last thing I heard about that, but weird. So I wonder what they're paying. I wonder how much they're paying to have Pokemon on a Disney property. Disney. How much are they paying Nintendo or whoever to get all of Pokemon on those services? That's interesting. That's very interesting to me. I don't know if it's interesting to the rest of you, but if you wanted to watch the original Pokemon series, this would be it. This is what it all started. This is what I was watching when I was a little kid, what I recently was watching, because I just recently watched all of it again because I'm stupid and crazy. But yeah, when Ash was 10 years old, went out on his first journey, got his first Pokemon named Pikachu, and his stupidity reigned throughout that whole series. But that's what made that anime. And I always hated Ash Ketchum from the very beginning. But still, it's Pokemon. And even though I'm 40 years old, I still do like Pokemon. Even though I haven't played the games in a while, and I'm kind of interested in new Pokemon games that are coming in the near future, but still, it's something about that. That's why I like Pocket Pairs. What do you call it? Not Pokemon. Shit. I forgot the name. Pal World. That's why I like Pal World so much. I like weird monster creatures. I also still like stuff like Digimon and stuff. You know, I miss Digimon. Digimon, digital monsters, because I grew up with that shit. And it still pertains to me in some weird, sick way. Anyways, it's coming to Disney Plus and Hulu Plus and stuff. Hulu, so all you kids can watch that too, even though it's not a Disney property. Interesting. Nintendo getting in bed with Disney for that stuff. But I don't know. Do they? I think they get the way to say, hey, we'll license this out to you. I would think, unless if it's Game Freak that does it. I don't know. It's one of the many Pokemon corporate cultures that has the titles to this. Anyways, it's game centric and it is game news, and I thought people would like to know that, especially if you have small children or if you're still a small child at heart and you wanted to watch more Pokemon in a certain way and you forgot where it was and you have Disney Plus or Hulu and you don't have Netflix, or if you just don't want to watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on Disney Plus soon. So that is it, folks. That is the show, and that is the podcast. And I'm going to go edit this all up, get this all ready to come out for today, and I'm going to go make myself some food, play some games, and enjoy the rest of my Sunday. So everybody, thank you for joining me here at OldFreakyGamer.com and the GamezAttack podcast. Like I said, this Tuesday I should have up. I will be playing, and I should have up Halo Campaign Evolved first gameplay. We'll see how that day goes. And then Wednesday, like I said, will be the 6th and second final episode of Game Through with Halo Infinite, my game playthrough of Halo Infinite. And then Friday will be more Halo-rific fun and entertainment with Halo Campaign Evolved again for Game On Live. So it's going to be a Halo-rific week this week. It's going to be all Halo week this week. Nothing but Halo. I just noticed that. It's all Halo. from Monday through Friday, it's going to be Halo here at OldFreakyGamer.com with new Halos, old Halos, me talking about Halo. And yeah, so get ready for all that Halo-rific fun. Come to OldFreakyGamer.com and take a look there. You can watch it live. A lot of stuff live, a lot of stuff. Yeah, what else? This podcast comes out every Monday. My streams on Fridays are at 8 p.m. Eastern time. What else? I'm trying to think of what else to talk about. Probably nothing else. So everybody, I am Mr. Mike signing out saying game on, game hard, world conquest. I'm pushing this gaming button, and the show is now game over. So everybody.
It's all a thrill, conquering worlds with skill on skill. Game on, game hard, streaming stars, we're never far. Game on, game hard, in this conquest, we're avatars. The mic calls the plays, gaming chair, endless days. Podcast echoes through the streams, living out our pixel dreams. Hit that button, go live, go live. In this realm where games survive. GamezAttack with a rebel spark. We're lighting up the digital dark. Game on, game hard, streaming stars, we're never
Game over.